you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Director. Again, nice to see you, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today. I have two very quick questions, which hopefully will elicit quick answers, and then a larger one that you can do whatever you want with. The quicker questions, I asked Dick Clark when he was up before us some questions about a flight that left the country with the bin Laden family on it shortly after 9/11. Our staff has learned that at least 6 chartered flights of primarily Saudi citizens departed the United States in the week after 9/11. My first question is, did the FBI have a process in place to screen passengers on these departing flights?
I believe I have seen one of the staff statements that addresses this particular issue and discusses the process we went through in order to screen the flights in terms of reviewing the names and then interviewing at least a number of the passengers. And I believe in my review of that staff statement it was accurate.
And do you recall then if they were run through a tip-off program?
I believe that they were, not only were they done at the time in terms of, again, I'd have to look at the staff statement, but I believe that, yes, the indices were checked, and a subsequent check has been made through the Terrorist Screening Center that is the combination of data of a terrorist watch list, and none of the names came up.
If you could, to double-check that and see if it was tip-off or
yes.
see if it was an FBI program that,
yes.
that you ran those through. The second question, then, with regard to these flights is on the specific bin Laden flight that left September 20th, 2001, a counterterrorism FBI official told us that he received permission from somebody at the FBI SIOC headquarters to approve that flight. Do you know who that is?
I do not. I'd have to get back to you on that.
Can you check that and get that back to me? Final question, Mr. Director. I lived through 13 months of the joint inquiry, saw many of the systemic and structural mistakes, errors that the FBI had made, and came into this particular 9/11 Commission very anxious and very, very tenacious about seeing a component taken away from the FBI on this domestic security threat. I no longer feel that way. I'm not sure what the answer is quite yet. I have a great deal of confidence in you personally. You will leave that job. So the structural and institutional changes you make to the FBI will be key to how I decide whether this will be something in the FBI or DOJ or a separate entity or an MI5. My question to you is the following, and give it your tour de force and your passion and convince me and other people in America. With so little confidence right now in the FBI and the stakes being so large for the security of the country, why should we give the FBI another chance?
Well, let me just start at the outset and say I don't agree with your assumption that the confidence in the FBI is so low. If you go around this country, if you go overseas, if you go into your communities, if you talk to people, they have a tremendous respect and a belief in the capability of the FBI. We have changed to meet threats in the past. We will change to meet this threat. But I do not believe that the American public has lost confidence in the men and women of the FBI. And to the contrary, I think perhaps if you get outside of Washington, you will find that in your communities, in your cities, in your towns, that the FBI has a tremendous amount of respect from the community, but also from state and local law enforcement. If you go overseas, and this is a critical component of the success, our success in the future, you will find that our counterparts in whichever country you go to has a tremendous respect and affection for the FBI, and those relationships will be instrumental in the future for protecting the United States from transnational threats. I think it would be a tremendous mistake to give short shrift to the What has been accumulated by the FBI over the years, the expertise, the professionalism, that which is articulated in the staff statement in terms of our capabilities post-event, and forget what we have done as we go through this process. What I think, and I think what the American people want, and I think are entitled to, is for a look back at the mistakes we made, those things we did not do right, which they would freely admit. There were things that should have been done better. We did not do them better. And I, even though I was on, started September 4th, feel a tremendous burden, a guilt for not having done a better job. I think all of us feel that. But I believe that every one of us, men and women in the FBI, and I don't care whether they are agents or analysts or support, feel a dedication and a duty to protect the United States, and we have spent 12 hours a day since September 11th in the execution of that duty. And I think it would be a mistake to not give that due consideration as you make your decision. If I may make one other point, and that is, I also went through those 13 months with the Joint Intelligence Committee, and there were a series of recommendations that were laid out from that committee. It may have been 12, I'm not certain of the number, but I think if you go through 19, if you go through every one of those 19, you will see that we have made substantial progress on those recommendations. It's listed in the report that I've appended to my statement, but I think if you go down and review each one of those 19 recommendations, we have come a long ways since those recommendations were put out.
I thank you for the answer, and again, I want to underscore that they are needed structural changes. I can't tell you how much confidence I personally have in the people and the staff and the great personnel at the FBI. You have tremendous people working for you. It's the structure and the system and making those very tough, difficult changes in this new environment. And I think you gave a very strong answer. I thank you.
Thank you.